Welcome to another episode of Pregnancy Friendly Exercises here with myself, Dawn, also known as That Mama 4, and Sport Singapore. So, as the name suggests, these exercises are pregnancy friendly. You can do them all the way until you give birth, right? So, don't feel the need to have to stop moving at all. I've gone through it 4 times, right? So, I can tell you firsthand that these are very doable exercises unless you have complications, right? So, disclaimer, if you have complications, please seek the advice as well as approval from your gynae before proceeding with any exercise actually. So take myself as an example. I had a lot of difficulty doing some of the exercises that I am going to show you. It's not impossible. I just had to monitor and adjust so I could still get some movement done instead of sitting down and not doing anything, which is actually more disastrous. So being able to modify is one of the options that you'll have here as well. But yes, if you do have any complications, please seek the advice and approval of your gynecologist first, all right? Otherwise, those who are not pregnant, please feel free to join us as well because they are pregnancy friendly but great for everyone. So non-impact but good for the body, right? So we're going to start out with some simple exercises first, right? Having your feet wider than the width of your hips, we're going to place our hands on our hips and then we're going to try to be soft and light on the 10 toes as you sit the bum back and down and exhale to press and come up. All right, from the side, watch. I'm gonna lean my body forwards as I sit my bum back and exhale to come back up. The reason why we're doing this is to help to strengthen not just the muscles around the hips that support the back, but also the legs, all right? Now we're gonna go for 15 repetitions of these guys. I'm not gonna make you do all 15 repetitions here, but I'm gonna just demonstrate 10, okay? So you can come back to this video again, pause it, finish up 15 on your own. But if you can only start off with 7 or 8 on the other extreme of the scale, please go ahead and just start off with 7 or 8 or maybe even less and then slowly build it up from there. All right, so if you can see, my knees are not jutting forwards. I'm actually placing more weight on my heels. As you can see, I'm even trying to lift all 10 toes off. You don't have to do that, but this is just to show you that I'm really light on my toes and I'm placing more weight onto my heels. So this is your wide-legged squat. All right, really good for strengthening the hips, really good for strengthening the big muscles in your legs as well. And this is so good, especially for our pregnant friends, because it helps you to be able to get the circulation back up to the upper extremities as well. As you engage the muscles in your lower half, it does help you to squeeze more blood back to the upper extremities as well. Now let's come into the next exercise here. I'll show you the front view and I'll show you the side view. You notice that I started off with my feet apart and I'm just going to take one foot back. If you need to, you can always have your whole foot down towards the ground, flat like mine is, right? I'm going to try to keep my front knee over my ankle. So I still have the back foot flat at this point, but watch. Now I'm going to lift the back heel and lower back my knee down towards the ground. I come back on the heel once again. And then I inhale to lower, I exhale to come back. This is how it looks like from the side. I start off with my feet wider than the width of my hips perhaps, and then I take one foot back. We'll do 10 on each side. But again, if you can only start off with 5, you just start off with 5, okay? So I'm holding onto my hips just to try and, remind myself to keep my hips level. So earlier on, I mentioned that you can be on your foot flat if you find that balancing on tippy toes is pretty difficult for you. You can also hold onto a chair, a table, or even the wall for balance if you need to, right? So just see what your body needs, okay? All right, so staying on tiptoe if you can, on the foot if you need to. And I'll show you how it looks like from the side if you are flat on the toes. When you lower your hips and your back knee down towards the ground, obviously the heel comes up. But when you come back, you're more grounded once again with both feet flat, right? And you can do all 10 repetitions here like this. If balancing is not so much an issue for you, you can always come down, little tiny movements up and down. And like I said, if you need to, hold on to something for balance, right? What I really like about these wide-legged lunges is how it helps you to be able to stretch a muscle that tends to get very tight for pregnant women because you'll tend to sit down for longer hours. Tiredness is something that sets in more easily earlier for us when we're pregnant. So if you find yourself out of breath, just go ahead and take a rest, right? You don't have to finish all 10 repetitions at one time, especially if you just started. Take your time to build up those repetitions. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So while doing that exercise, you should have felt a stretch across the front of your hip for whichever leg is on top, right? So I'm going to have my feet on two sides of a railway track. Left foot is on the left side, right foot is on the right side, but I took my right foot back. Hands are on the hips. I'm going to try and find that fishbowl that is my pelvis and keep it level. Looking forwards makes it a whole lot easier for me to balance, right? So option one, you have your foot flat. You lower and you come back up, you flatten the foot again. Option two, you stay on tiptoe. Inhale to lower, exhale to come up, right? So you just repeat this and you'll notice that my range of motion may be bigger than yours when you first start out. It's okay. Start from somewhere. The key is to start from somewhere. Sometimes we tend to give up before we even start because you tell yourself, I can't do that, okay? So I'm not even going to try. Would you tell your kids that? Okay, so in everything that we do, you just got to take the first step, okay? So just encourage yourself. I would say be your own cheerleader. You can't look at others or look to others to try to give you the encouragement all the time, okay? So sometimes you just have to be your biggest cheerleader. All right, let's do two more here. One more time and stop. All right, shake your legs out. So by now, you may feel a little bit more tired. I'm going to have you just prepare a towel, or if you have a cushion, go ahead and grab a hold of it. This is what I have here, a pregnancy cushion. Okay, so it's rather thick, and it does make it a whole lot more comfortable for our pregnant friends, especially since you tend to be more sensitive, especially around the wrist, around your knees, you know, certain parts of the body, they become a little extra sensitive as well, right? And it does help you in some of the balancing movements that we're going to be doing in a short while. So if you do not have a pregnancy pillow or a yoga pillow, you can use a rolled up towel, okay? So just, you know, roll out your bath towel, make it this thick. It doesn't have to be this wide, but it should be about this thick. I'm going to step towards the front of the pillow. I'm going to have my heels on top. Now, this is also a lot kinder, more friendly for those of you with a lot of tightness around the back of your lower legs and your ankles. So if you're one of those who has difficulty coming into a squat with your heels down, all right, difficulty to come into a squat with your heels down. Now understand that this is not something that you want to do if you are beyond 35 weeks of pregnancy, okay? You don't go into deep squats. So what we're going to do here is a chair. Just because it's pregnancy-friendly exercises, it does not mean we just sit around and lie down a lot, okay? You need to build up your strength or at least maintain it. It's not a time for you to get much fitter, but you do need to prepare yourself for when a little one comes along. You do need the energy, right? So don't let your strength levels go down too much because it's not going to make you a very fantastic caregiver at that time, okay? So yes, try and build up your strength just slightly. It doesn't have to be like, you know, a drastic change, all right? But see what you can do, okay? All right, heels are resting on the towel, and I'm going to have my arms reaching forwards as I sit my bum back and down, holding it here. So at this point, for some of you, you're going to feel a little bit of discomfort around your shoulders as you raise your arms up. It's okay. Put your hands on your hips or rest them on your thighs. Perfectly fine. I'm looking forwards here. I'm not looking down towards the ground because look at what happens to my spine if I look down. I end up rounding my back, and the heavy weight that is my head could be pulling my body forwards, and it makes it a whole lot harder for you to balance, right? Where you look at is going to matter a lot, all right? So look forwards. We're going to hold it here for another 5 more breaths. And then the whole time, trying to find your focal point in front and focusing on your breathing. We inhale through the nose. We exhale through the nose like we are trying to say ha, H-A, but the mouth is closed, all right? Let's do 2 more here, all right? Inhale through the nose. Anytime you need to come up and stand first, please do that, all right? 1 more time here. And then very slowly coming up to stand. All right, now I'm going to take a step back. You can walk around your pillow. You can walk around your towel if you want to as well. And then we're going to come onto our knees, okay? So cushioning your knees with that pillow, with the towel. You might need to open up your towel if it's rolled up like a sushi. So there's some padding for your knees, right? I'm going to come onto all fours now. Now, if your wrists are the ones that are more sensitive, you can place your towel or your pillow under your wrists as well, right? So option is under the knees or under your hands. If you have 2 pillows or 2 towels, better still. Okay, now watch. I'm gonna have my hands shoulder width distance apart, and I'm gonna have my knees hip width distance apart. I'm gonna extend my right leg back, and I'm gonna hold it there. And then you're gonna try and transfer a little bit of weight towards your right hand so that your left fingers can rest lightly on that pillow or the towel. And if it is okay for you, you're gonna start to raise your arm up. But if you lose your balance, the hand does come down and you can keep it there. As we now exhale, lower that knee to almost touch the ground and raise it back up. So option 1, you stay with your left hand on the ground. The rule is nothing can move except your opposite arm and leg. Okay, so it's right leg and left arm perhaps for option 2. On the exhale, lower the fingers or lower the hand and lower the knee. We go again, 8 more times. And exhale. And 7. And exhale. 6. 5. So breathe to switch on those breathing muscles, all right? 4. I know during pregnancy, our lung capacity does become a bit smaller, okay? But that doesn't mean we deliberately breathe shallow, right? 2 more. And out. 1 more time. And stop. Okay, come rest on your heels. Take a breather, take the weight off your hands, take the weight off your knees, and then we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. Now, the reason why we are doing this quadruped movement here is because it's so good for helping to strengthen the muscles on the back and the hips, as well as your shoulders, all right? So understand that with so much sitting, and then later on, once baby comes around, you're gonna be carrying him or her a lot, okay? So your posture will change, right? Your chest maybe at this point would already started to cave in due to, your assets growing, right? So this is an important part of our upper body that we want to work on, right? So strengthening that upper body, keep the chest open, right? So just avoid dropping your head down. Some of you are going to feel uncomfortable around your neck if you do that. So I would advise you to look towards the front end of your mat instead, okay? Let's go over to the other side now. So keep your knees slightly apart. We're gonna take your left leg up and back this time. Keep your breathing muscles on. Push into the pillow or the towel with your left hand this time. And if you can, you're gonna float your right arm up. If you're losing your balance, you're just gonna have to do the 10 repetitions of knee down and leg up with your right hand down as well. If you're okay, you're gonna follow me. All right, inhale, right arm, left leg, and exhale, we lower. But I did not rest my knee down, okay? And 2, and exhale. And 3, and exhale. And 4, and exhale. And 5, and out. Very nice. All right, so while you're doing this, all right, make sure that you are not rushing through the movement as well, okay? You want to move at the speed of your breath, all right? Last 2 here. 1 more time. And then slowly relax. All right, come into that seated position on the ground this time. Now, if it is uncomfortable for you to be seated on the ground this way, you can have your pillow under your hips. All right, so that helps to elevate your hips compared to where your knees are, compared to where your feet are. And you may find that you're able to sit up a lot taller as well, okay? Now let's have our legs out in a diamond position, okay? I'm gonna have you hold on to your left shin. You're gonna press down on your right thigh, try to sit up tall, and you're gonna face the wall on your right side. So with pregnancy, we don't go into deep twists. Number 1, you can't, right? In your later pregnancy. Number 2, you shouldn't in the early part of your pregnancy for obvious reasons, right? So, in the early first trimester, it can actually cause, detachment, right? So do avoid deep twisting earlier in your first trimester, right? We're gonna hold on to the shin or the ankle, sit up tall, use your thigh, push against it, and then just go for a twist towards the right side. All right, try not to just shrug your shoulders as you're doing this. You want to keep the shoulders relaxed. The movement happens around the spine. All right, and then slowly come back towards the center. We still need those movements to lubricate the spine somewhat. Okay, now take your left hand onto that left thigh, Right hand on the shin or close to your ankle. Sit up tall and let's just go towards the left side, gazing towards that left side. So you won't exactly be having your chest facing the wall. Those who are not pregnant, please go ahead, okay? But our pregnant friends, you want to just maybe face about 45 degrees towards the side, and then that's it, right? So your eyes, that rotation, okay, also happens around the neck, which is why my eyes are looking towards the wall, not my chest, right? And then very slowly coming back towards the center. Stay for about 5 breaths will do, but observe the quality of your breathing while you're at it as well. Okay, now have your feet hip width distance apart. I have my hands behind me. You can rest on your palms or you can rest on your fingers, okay? Walk your hands back first because this will allow you that room that you need in order to place your right foot on top of your left leg. This will help you to stretch out the outside of your right hip. Now, if you find that I don't really feel a stretch around the outside of my right hip, whichever leg is on top, you're gonna walk your bottom leg in. The closer you bring your legs towards your chest, the deeper the stretch, right? And this helps to take away a lot of tension around the outsides of the hips, right? Stay right there for about 8 to 10 breaths. I'm not going to hold you there for so long, okay? You can pause the video, come back to it, or maybe for today, you're only going to stay for those 5 breaths that I'm holding you here for as well, okay? And then gradually make this a pose or a practice that you can add into your daily routine as well, right? And very slowly walk that foot forwards first, and then lower the right foot down. We do the same thing on the other side. So if you run, you jog, you brisk walk, you hike a lot, I would encourage you to do this pose as well. Okay, so really good for helping to relieve a lot of tightness and tension around the hips, especially on the outside, right? If you do suffer from sciatica, this is also one pose that you would want to do. Add it into your daily routine. Okay, it doesn't matter what else you're doing, just put this in as one of the stretches that you do at the end of your workout as well. Your body will thank you for it. Okay, I'm going to hold it there for just one more breath. And then very slowly lower that foot down, come into that cross leg sit, and let's come into a stretch for your neck, right? You can come into that diamond leg sit as well if it is more comfortable for you, okay? So over here, drop your right ear towards your right shoulder, but I'd like you to at the same time turn your gaze towards your left knee, right? While you're looking at your left knee, you'll feel that stretch along the side of your neck, but a little more towards the back. Hold it there for just 2 more breaths. You don't want to try too hard in your stretches, okay? Go to the point where you feel the stretch, good enough. Don't have to push too hard. All right, come back towards the center, and then we change. In order for you to be able to see changes, right? It's really important for you to be consistent in your practice. Consistency, not intensity. This is what's going to help you to be able to see the fruits of your efforts, the fruits of your labor coming out. Remember, okay, consistency, not intensity. Intensity sometimes, if you're not ready for it, can cause injury. All right, and slowly come back center. One last one. Hand behind the head to gently press the chin down towards the chest, to press the head forwards and down so the chin comes in towards the chest. Feeling that stretch along the back of your neck, holding it there for another 2 more breaths. One more. And then very slowly coming back up. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining myself and Sport Singapore for today's short practice on pregnancy-friendly exercises. Also good for those who are not pregnant. Thank you, and I hope to see you all joining me in my videos once again. Have a good one, everybody.